Episode number 148. The king trembled with joy, and the cardinal with vexation. Although, distant as they were from the queen, they could not count the studs. The queen had them. The only question was, had she 10 or 12? At that moment the violins sounded the signal for the ballet. The king advanced toward Madame the President, with whom he was to dance, and designous monsieur with the queen. They took their places, and the ballet began. The king danced facing the queen, and every time he passed by her, he devoured with his eyes those studs, of which he could not ascertain the number. A cold sweat covered the brow of the cardinal. The ballet lasted an hour, and had 16 entrees. The ballet ended amid the applause of the whole assemblage, and everyone reconducted his lady to a place, but the king took advantage of the privilege he had of leaving his lady, to advance eagerly towards the queen. "I thank you, madam," said he, "for the deference you have shown to my wishes, but I think you want 2 of the studs, and I bring them back to you." With these words he held out to the queen the 2 studs the cardinal had given him. "How, sir?" cried the young queen, affecting surprise. "You are giving me, then, 2 more. I shall have 14. In fact the king counted them, and the 12 studs were all on Her Majesty's shoulder. The king called the cardinal. "What does this mean, Monsieur Cardinal?" asked the king in a severe tone. "This means, sir," replied the cardinal, "that I was desirous of presenting Her Majesty with these 2 studs, and that not daring to offer them myself, I adopted this means of inducing her to accept them." "And I am the more grateful to your eminence," replied Anne of Austria, with a smile that proved she was not the dupe of this ingenious gallantry, "from being certain that these 2 studs alone have cost you as much as all the others cost His Majesty." Then saluting the king and the cardinal, the queen resumed the way to the chamber in which she had dressed, and where she was to take off her costume. The attention which we have been obliged to give, during the commencement of the chapter, to the illustrious personages we have introduced into it, has diverted us for an instant from him to whom Anne of Austria owed the extraordinary triumph she had obtained over the cardinal, and who, confounded, unknown, lost in the crowd gathered at one of the doors, looked on at this scene, comprehensible only to 4 persons, the king, the queen, his eminence, and himself. The queen had just regained the chamber, and D'Artagnan was about to retire, when he felt his shoulder lightly touched. He turned, and saw a young woman, who made him a sign to follow her. The face of this young woman was covered with a black velvet mask, but notwithstanding this precaution, which was in fact taken rather against others than against him, he at once recognized his usual guide, the late and intelligent Mme. Bonacieux.